Yeah, drink too much.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Good evening.
Hey, were you talking about me again?
You know it. I never stopped talking about you. You've called me like 11 times today, so I get a chance to talk to you.
It was like 7 times. Don't exaggerate.
The 8th was to me.
Ah, that's right. Yeah. Well, and the 7th time he called me was about you. So, yeah. So, all you listeners out there, welcome to the Hunter's Happy Hour presented by Onyx. Since all of us except for Doug are sponsored by Onyx. So, and then there's Ben.
I probably have to fix that.
Yeah.
Actually, Ben is also sponsored by Onyx.
Yes.
Yeah. You just in a different way.
Sponsorship of all of us.
Right.
Yep.
I'm guessing that he probably gets paid more than Ron does. Would be my bet.
Probably.
I would hope.
I gotta ask Doug, what wall? Where you're not in the kitchen? Where are you at, Douglas?
I am. I'm actually in the kitchen, 90 degrees from where I normally sit.
Oh.
He rewound back to 7th grade, and he's in front of that picture screen in the hallway that the people put up that you could get the J.C. Penney's pictures from.
The watercolor background.
That's super nice, Doug.
The shirt and color paint. You almost just look like a talking head because the shirt almost blends into the paint.
Right. A little more contrast maybe next time.
Yeah. Got to get some Blaze Orange.
Don't you have any pictures on the wall in your kitchen or anything? Or are you moving out? What's
not on this side. We are going to move out eventually, but so it's good to see Nick back in his home office. And for those of you guys that did not believe me, I wanted to share with you what Nick does while we're sitting there doing our intro.
Yep.
He's sitting there doing gun mounts in the background.
No way.
So
Guns are right behind me. It's
let's have everybody critique his form right now.
Yeah,
Dude,
go ahead. Critique
I've seen Larson shoot, and practicing gun mount is not going to help.
I'll take that.
I gotta come out to Duluth and have Nick show me how to shoot rough grouse. That way he can critique me. So.
I could teach you how to shoot fast, Tyler. That's one thing I could do. Well, I could show you how to shoot fast, I guess.
You come up when you and I are hunting here in a couple of weeks. I'll just poach every sharptail out in front of you and show you I can shoot fast.
Yeah, we might have to make a little something of that.
Yeah, shooting like open cylinder and just see if we can shoot them as soon as they get off the ground, basically.
Nick, your best bet is to figure out what gun Tyler's using and take
and take what?
The firing pin out of it.
Yeah. No, I've seen Tyler shoot.
I know. You know, there's words to describe it. I'm not talking about beautiful poetic words.
It ain't beautiful, I'll tell you that, but it's practical.
It's practical. Yep. He knows how to get a shot on a bird. That's for sure.
Right.
Well, when Ron's out here next week, our dove season opens up a week from today. So I'm not sure. We may have to try to do this out in the yard with mojos up. And as doves are coming in, maybe we could be popping shots at some morning doves.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
How far away from the house can we get with your internet?
Well, we'll find out, I suppose. Probably to the fence line over here where they just harvested the wheat field. There was some mourning doves sitting on the fence when we pulled in. So
Douglas got almost a green screen. Can we get background?
People are really concerned about my background.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you fixed up your basement. You were down there, and then I thought maybe you put a coat of gray paint over the whole thing or something.
Over my studs?
Real color, though. I do like it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that.
It's a nice
Bailey
throwing down satin finish.
Bailey throwing down some heat on my shooting, saying I can't hit woodcock. Everybody can hit woodcock, Bailey. I've got one woodcock in my life, and it was with Craig Jones's gun while he was taking a pee, and I shot it one-handed.
Is that the only one you've shot at?
Yeah, it's the only one I've ever shot at.
Well,
Andrew thinks that Nick's got you on 100 clays.
God, I don't know, man.
Well,
Tyler's the trap king.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
When I went shooting with those little teenage girls down in Ohio, and you shoot sporting clays,
Yeah.
That ain't the same as shooting clays. I
See,
mean,
I've never shot sporting clays ever. We don't have any sporting clays courses in North Dakota.
no, you guys,
Right? Right?
I will say that sporting clays has definitely made me a better shooter in the last couple of years, and also just working on my shooting, because prior to that, I didn't do a whole lot of it, and I've become a better shooter, but I've never made any claims of being a great wing shot.
Oh, you're pretty good though. Better than Ron.
I'm coming along. when you're a quote unquote partridge hunter for 15 years, you don't really get good at wing shooting doing it that way.
Yeah, you get
I'll
good
say
at
that.
snap shooting. That is one thing I will say, that I've never seen somebody who snap shoots better than Ron. If Ron has time to think about a pheasant flying away, there's a 50-50 chance that pheasant's going to keep on flying away. But if it gets up behind him and he's got to spin and shoot, that bird's dead. It's dead. Like, there's no doubt.
it's from my night terror dreams back when I was a kid. I'm very, I'm not very stable.
I don't know why I didn't. I should have had. You and I should have went to the sporting clays range while we were down in Virginia last year in February, Ron, because I've never got to do it. I think it'd be fun as hell. I'd like to try it.
Yeah, and the good ones, I mean, are humbling. I shot 49 out of 100 at that range with those girls in Ohio with Dave Miller. Dave got about 80, I think, 80 something out of 100. Which you'd expect, the guy makes.
Well, he's only a pro shooter, yeah.
Right. And I'm
I
sure
still think I got him, but whatever.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna happen someday.
It's gonna happen one of these days for sure. Because
my
I keep on talking shit, and he
swear-
seems willing. So
I swear, if you're even close to beating him at the end, I'm gonna cut your Achilles heel so you fuck up. I will not be able to handle it.
So Dave's got a question he dropped in the box. What are some practical ways of getting better at wing shooting?
Put a blindfold on and get a pinata.
Just exactly what we're talking about. Find some of your buddies that you like to beat at something and talk a lot of shit and go and shoot. There's no substitute to that. I mean, like, spending time at the range is about as good as you can do.
I'll tell you something that would help, at least at that little club I shoot at in Virginia. Yeah, and I know people who do it like golfers, they want a good score. I don't care what my score is. I just want to hit half the targets. And when I go somewhere, next time you go to sporting clays range, don't ask to see one. Sure. Just stand there and say, okay, it's a report pair, it's a true pair. And sometimes you can't even see where in a good range, you might see this target over here. That other target's coming from, you don't know if A or B is coming first. Right. You want to challenge yourself, get your gun low mount and just go pull. And that's because I don't care what bird it is, you snap shoot grouse, but you're going to miss less pheasants and sharpies if you get that gun up there just as quick as you do grouse hunting. You got to.
Well, for God's sakes, if there's a problem that I have with you rough grouse hunters shooting sharptails, is that you guys don't wait long enough. Yeah. And they just end up going up in a puff of feathers because it's it's like, okay, how about a 3 count? Can we go with a 3 count?
Yeah. I think coming out there the last 2 years has actually played into making me a better shooter. I've definitely spent more time in the clays range, and that's one thing where you don't have the pressure and the excitement of the bird, your dog on the ground, all that stuff can really influence your bad habits because you're rushing and doing things the wrong way. So to go to the clays range and shoot low gun, like Ron said, take your time, practice your gun mount, but just seeing different presentations, you're going to get sight pictures in your head that are going to help you in the field. But going out there and just being able to actually take my time, watch a bird and shoot it, I think has actually translated to me being a better shot in the woods. Because a lot of times before it was just like violently trying to get the gun to my shoulder and get a shot off so fast that the number one reason you're going to miss is probably a bad mount. So work on your mount, and out there, it's really easy to get a good solid mount, or generally easier to get a good mount and make a good shot.
I rush shots so much. I know the first bird that I hit in North Dakota is going to be split in half.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of them you weren't pointing at.
What's that?
It'll be one of them that you weren't even pointing at.
That's probably
true. Yeah. I flock shot my first Hun last year.
So I'm going to come out of left field here and say, so when I was down in Mississippi, there was a nice sporting clays range down there, and there was this instructor that came to town, and I took like 1 or 2 lessons with him, and just like, understanding the technique and why you do things.
Sure.
And then just practicing that and repetition was, it's like
Yep.
hiring a fishing guide for a new body of water you've never fished. And it was
Right.
like, wow, I thought I could hit stuff. But,
Right.
But now it's like, okay, now you understand a lot more of the fundamentals.
A couple other quick tips before I do introduce our guest for this week, because I know that Ted is very, very curious about who's here, because obviously he didn't watch back in May.
Yep. Thanks, Ted.
He was on here before. But one of the other things that I will definitely mention about shooting is practice. Like if you're shooting trap, don't practice with a mounted gun.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Like that is like you're never going to hunt that way, so don't practice that way. The other thing is wear your hunting clothes.
Mhm.
Like if you're out there and if you have a vest with a padded strap on it, or if you're going to wear heavy clothes, go out sometime when it's a little bit chilly out and try to shoot with that stuff, because it's going to change your mount. If you have a padded strap and a heavy jacket on, all of a sudden you're going to hang up that gun in your armpit and you're going to miss that bird. Like practicing that stuff. But for those of you guys who weren't paying attention and not watched every episode, I don't know what's wrong with you for starters. So, let's put that out there. But, it was May, right, Doug? Something like that?
Yeah.
We were talking turkeys, so yeah, that sounds right.
April. It would have been end of April.
The guest that we have tonight was also on then, but he was not with the company that he's with now. So this is Ben Bredigan from Onyx. Back then it was with Primos, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So he is, in fact, one of the things we're going to talk a little bit about tonight is why he's out here. And I think that it would actually be best just to have you kind of explain what we're going to be doing tomorrow morning.
Yeah, for sure. So we're out here, and if you guys have watched, you guys have looked around the internet a fair amount, obviously, and there's just not a whole lot of good resources for figuring out how to hunt Sharpies and Huns. I was Googling it, and it was like, well, you got to stick to crop fields, or you got to be in the middle of nowhere. And so we're going to be out here. We're going to be showing you how to use Onyx to not only find birds on the computer or on your phone, but also when you get out in the field and what that actually looks like. So tangible, like, all right, this is what it looks like on my phone. And we're going to go out in the field with the drones and all the cameras and show you what it looks like on the ground. And we were driving around today, and it was just, I had hunted Sharpies out east, but
Right.
Just like Tyler's like, all right, that's a good piece. That looks great. That looks great. And, I could have stayed on the internet for 2 hours
Sure.
or 10 hours, and just seeing it is
For something as cliche as saying that they like shortgrass prairie, that's not actually a very apt description of what they actually like. So one of the things that we were looking at when we were driving around this evening, and we didn't get a chance to run dogs tonight because it was just too freaking hot out, but you don't want to see a field that's like monoculture where it's the same type of grass. You want to see flowers and different types of grass and colors and depths and bushes and rolling hills and all this kind of stuff that's very nuanced, where if you were to look at a satellite imagery, one of the things that we're definitely going to get in depth on is one of the most important layers as far as e-scouting for sharptails go is going to be the topography layer, because you want to find those spots that are kind of rolling and have some ridge lines and stuff like that. You don't want it to be super flat. And so we're going to after we get done with this tonight, providing we're sober enough, we're going to jump on and do a podcast, and we're actually going to look at some of my pins and kind of try to go through some of the spots without leaving real detailed directions on how to get to them. But what we're kind of looking for as far as an aerial view goes, and then tomorrow morning we'll go out and we'll actually put boots on the ground and show what the cover itself looks like, what you're looking for, depth, different types of plants to keep an eye out for, and then we're going to actually show some dog work.
Cool.
Shazam.
Damn right, guys.
I'm looking forward to that, because as somebody that's come out that way and hunted the last couple of years, I have found the digital scouting portion of it to be entirely different as compared to what I do in the woods, which is pretty obvious. But I've learned from talking to you, Tyler, that how to identify sharptail habitat. And mainly where I'm at right now is when I'm out there, I'm driving around looking and I can identify it now. Like I feel good that I can actually identify that looks like good sharptail cover, but I'm really curious about what are the things that could actually be identified via OnX and digitally, so you can do some of that pregame scouting. So that'll be interesting.
Sure. And I want to put a caveat on it by saying that we talked about this as soon as Ben got here. Sharptails are some of the weirdest freaking birds you're ever going to see. So, like, there are no hard and fast rules as far as where to find them. I've shot them off of hay bales, out of CRP fields, out of stubble, out of wheat, out of canola, out of sunflowers, out of cattails. Like, I've shot them everywhere. I've seen them sitting on highline wires. But is what we're going to show. What's that?
Shot them.
No, I waited until they flew. Like I threw rocks at them, and then they flew off, and I shot them when they flew.
Honk the horn.
I'm not Randy Newberg here. I'm not shooting them when they're sitting.
Pre-flight position.
Honk the horn is pretty important. That does work. It really is is what we're going to show you tomorrow is kind of core ideal looking sharptail habitat. And then also I think we're going to try to get into some Huns as well. And we drove down and looked at a spot tonight that it's actually the same spot that me and Craig filmed on the Flush with Travis a few years ago. It had a whole bunch of patches of wild sunflowers in it. Nick, you hunted it last year. It's where I was sitting on the tailgate and I shot that dove and let bow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then the next one that I did, he went and ate the bird. He's a German soul like that. But this year it looks really good. Like it's got wild sunflowers and kochia, and I mean it is really nice. So we're gonna get in that, and we're gonna see if we can roust a few birds, use it as a little bit of a scouting tool for myself, as well as see if we can actually show what I'm looking for in good Hun cover.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Where's Ron's small dog? Oh, they're just out running down the street right now.
They're digging holes is what they're doing. Don't even lie.
I told them they were bugging me. I said, go play in traffic for a while. see what happens.
You know, I am very worried about your health as far as falling in one of those holes, because it's not just possible, it's very probable that you're gonna fall into one of those, and I'm pretty sure the dogs are probably just gonna bury you there.
You know, I like to think that Taffy would bark like Lassie when Timmy's in the well.
Maybe Bravo. I don't know about Taffy.
I like to think that, but who knows? I just don't go in the back of the property, and I just let them go. I don't, they've been driving me crazy for 2 hours, and they've got access to the I don't know. Nobody's in here. Not one dog.
We got two of the nicest draughts I've ever seen in my life, and Rusty in here.
Wait a minute. Whoa.
Getting along?
Us. Ben, I know you did a podcast about draughts, okay? And for everybody's edification, those are Deutsche Drahthaars, okay? That means German wire hairs registered in Berlin.
Good separation of the T and the H.
Thank you. With the GNA, that's Wern Deutsch Drahthaar Group Nord America, okay?
This is a bingo square, by the way, for those of you keeping track.
And here's your second one.
For sure.
Here's your second one. He's muted.
Trivia, Ron?
And
I'm going to throw some trivia questions at you, then.
So,
Yes.
But, when you said,
Yes, we do.
Tyler, when you said what'd you say? Two of the nicest?
Nicest, yes, as in personality-wise.
You're basing that not on a lot of data, okay?
I'm basing it on like probably 10 total dogs.
Right.
Maybe 15. Probably 10.
Okay.
And out of those 10, 3 of them have been sweethearts. 5 of them have been total assholes, and 2 of them have been like halfway in between.
Okay. So, Ben, what do you have? Males or females?
I've got a 2-year-old male and a 4-year-old female.
That's a good combination. She'll keep them in line.
Yeah. She's pretty good as long as no one sniffs her butt, and then she comes uncorked. Like you were saying, I don't blame him.
Nick's the same way. He looks very mild, man. Looks very nice. He smiles. I've heard if somebody sniffs his butt, he comes uncorked.
There's only a few things that'll set off this Minnesota nice guy.
Yeah, and see if somebody sniffs my butt, I just feel bad for him.
Yeah, me too.
At my
I
age,
don't get mad. I feel sorry. I feel bad at that point.
my age, I got to pay for someone to sniff.
Oh my gosh, on a roll.
But boom. Oh.
But
Anyway.
his 2-year-old male is a kind of a slick coated dog, and you'd think for a dog that's intact, with a breed that has the reputation that a Draught has. The little puppy and all 4 of my dogs came rushing up to him, and he just kind of started wagging his tail and licking them. So
Yeah, that's
I
good.
like. Yeah.
As long as you're not a cat, life is good. Or a raccoon, or a skunk, or a porcupine, or a badger.
So Ron, he was telling me it's your 2-year-old male, right? What's the number?
50 plus cats.
Where is he getting these things?
Hey,
We had
Junior,
a good source.
Junior, we
Man.
did that one day in Virginia.
Sounds like we need to go take a trip to Virginia then.
Are these
Have you guys
confirmed
heard
kills
that
or are these?
Confirmed kills.
I was
Well,
living in
it's I'm sure that the dog is force fetched. So if it's going to kill something, it's bringing it back.
Yeah.
So it's pretty confirmed.
I've got a question for somebody that's never seen a Draught kill a cat. How does it typically play out? Because I imagine a cat would
Really
be.
quick is how it plays out.
Isn't a cat like evasive enough to get away, or do they stand their ground and then the Draught gets
where
them?
they make
Stand their ground, and it
Okay.
never works out.
So
Okay.
I'll give you the rundown, in my cat hunting experience. So if they run away, they have a chance. If they stand their ground, they have no chance.
Yeah.
But the thing is if the cat gets them by the head, it's a fight.
Yeah.
But if
Yeah.
they're running away, you
Ugh,
got a cat? Somebody got a cat they want it?
I don't have one.
Oh, that's too bad.
It's
I know I've told a couple of you guys. So when I was living in Virginia on this, the guy that I met down there that was actually breeding game birds, and I was going to rent a house from him, and I brought my house trailer down there. The deal we were going to rent the house from fell through, and he says, Ron, if you want, you can put your camper behind my, basically it was a converted turkey barns. They're 800 foot long, about 40 foot wide, real popular down there. And so I parked by the generator house, and I had power and just had to, kind of manage my gray water. And Zygon and Frankie, I think it was Frankie at the time, I had them in the trailer with me. And every morning I just open the door, cut them out in this hayfield. They'd run around, whistle, come back, put them in the truck, go to work. I'm leaving for Florida. My kids and wife are going to fly down to Florida, but I'm going to drop my dogs off at my buddy Pat Saunders, NAVDA judge. Hats off to you, Pat. And he's going to watch my dogs. And that morning, I let him out, kind of packing up the camper, rolling up the canopy, putting in the bump out, and I'm calling. I'm like, God damn it. Then I'm just back to being mad at my dogs. I'm blowing the whistle. Now, normally, from a scene of a crime, they do bring back whatever they were playing with, And the 2 of them come trotting up this
playing.
horn. They just, hey, boss, I open the tailgate, get in the box, and close the tailgate. I'm ready to leave. I go down this, I'm actually living through you have to go through a cornfield to get out of here. And on Black Creek Road, Iron Horse Road, rather, there's a cop, and he's looking in. There's like 4 or 5 campers that have little teeny lots on this river. So it's ran to the Shenandoah River. And I see the cop, seeing if anybody's home. And he looks at me with the dog box in the back of my truck. And he kind of trots over this truck, and I didn't think nothing of it. And I'm going real slow down this road. Before I get to the end of the road, the lights are on. Pulls up. I say, yeah, what's going on? I wasn't drinking. I wasn't worried. And
It must have been early.
well, it was like 10 in the morning.
Real early.
Real early. And he says, sir, it was a young guy. He goes, I don't want to bother you, but there was an incident earlier this morning. with some dogs and some cats. And right away, I had this sinking feeling. Now, right where my driveway from this cornfield and this old turkey barn, just to the little past that, we called her the cat lady. This lady loves cats. They all breed. They're running all over the place. I mean, like, there's cats. There's probably 50 cats living there, right? She just feeds them, doesn't license them, doesn't give them shots. She's just a little old 70-year-old cat lady from New Jersey, but she's in the valley. And he says to me, he says, if you don't mind waiting here, I'll go get this woman. I guess a couple of dogs came in and killed a bunch of her cats. And I said,
A bunch of them.
a bunch of them. And I said, sir, I said, don't bring her in the squad car here. I'm sure it was my dog. And he said, no. He says, don't. He was like, he's just never encountered this in his career. Like, seriously, it probably was my dog. I don't know that, but I mean, these dogs will kill any furred creature that's, doesn't wag a tail. And so we pull into this lady's yard just past my driveway. Cop goes up to the lady to get her out of the house. And I mean, like this cartoonish little old lady, everything but a walker, right? Like, and all I see across the yard is dead cats. I mean, there's a couple of them still going.
Oh no!
Cats, I can hear some cats that are going.
It's like a South Park scene.
It was, yeah. If South Park couldn't have wrote this scene, and this lady comes down, and I'm like, oh, this is not good. Comes around. I open the tailgate. That old dog box. Tyler's seen my dog box.
Yeah.
With the jail bar doors.
Yep.
She looks at it and she goes, That's them. They gotta be destroyed.
Oh boy.
The cop says, ma'am, let's calm down here. Let's assess what's going on here. And she goes, I want this man arrested. And I'm like, and he goes, ma'am, I contacted your son. Let's just get back in the house. He comes back to me. He says, I said, officer, what do I do? He goes, I don't know.
Leave is the answer. Get out of there right now.
He says, I contacted her son. I've got your information. I don't know what we can do. And he said, and I told him where I was going to Florida. And he said, I got your information. He says, as far as I know, there isn't a law about unlicensed cats being killed by dogs that are, he says, I don't know.
Yeah.
And I never heard from him again. Before I left, I said, hey, you want me to help clean up some of this mess? He goes, oh, no. He says, I already asked her once.
Oh, she wanted to just leave him there?
I don't know if she was going to walk out like the mad woman and Jeremiah Johnson and start dressing them.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen next.
I like the way that TJ put it. He said the cat little bighorn story.
Yep.
That's what it was. I didn't see the comments. That was
good.
That was.
As soon as I saw the comment, I was like, "Oh, that story." Yes,
they have gotten me in trouble several times in ones and twos, but never in dozens.
That's a great way to put up a lot of numbers, though.
You can put up some serious numbers fast.
Kevin wants to know what the body count was.
I would guess, dozen and a half for sure. Sure. I mean, that I can see. Well, you got to picture a bunch of cats that don't know what a dog is.
Right.
Like,
oh man.
Ben noticed right away. He's like, you must have had to put the draught count up on your kill board over there because it includes feral cats. And I said, yes, but the reason we put it up there wasn't for draughts. It was for a couple of insane griffs that were up here last year that ended up killing like 3 badgers in 4 days.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And like badgers, and they killed some raccoons and a coyote. And I was like, aren't you guys French? Like, you're not German? What are you doing?
They're German. And they're German as can be.
Yeah, something. I
remember the Griffin was one of the 4 foundation breeds to make the Drahtar.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was the other way around. Okay, yeah, you're right. Yeah, like we were talking, I was like, I would like. There are a lot of things on this planet that I would rather face off with before a badger. Like the badgers up here get rather large. I mean, like the way I was telling Ben, I was like, I'd rather swan dive into a tub full of scissors and tangle with one of those things. I mean, like it's like it literally has grizzly claws on 4 feet and teeth. Like, don't do that.
No.
Like
idea.
I don't have no problem with cats or coyotes or whatever else, but good Lord, guys, really? But they're just not fast enough to get away from them, and the draughts aren't smart enough to stop trying to kill them. So,
No, it's just
Oh,
the
boy.
way it is.
well, I mean, I think that I want to hear some more draught stories from the two of you guys, because I've never had like my German dog wouldn't kill the one cat that was on my porch last year that I wanted him to kill. And when the coyote was chasing me, he actually looked at him, wagged his tail, and kept on looking for sharp tail. So I'm going to say that my German dog is very minusculely German. But I want to hear more stories from you two.
Well, you know, there's a
You got a
border.
happy hour one? I like it.
Yeah.
There is a common border of northern France and Germany, so you just don't know.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I thought the French were just well known to surrender at the first sight of trouble. I mean, if you say, "Hey, I want that," they're like, "Yeah, have it." I thought that's kind of what they did. Isn't that what they did in World War II?
Tyler, if you'd be listening to Bird Dog Confidential, one of Project Upland's other podcasts, you would
Hunting
have
Dog Confidential.
Hunting dog.
whatever. I
Yeah.
was trying to get
They did cover that. They did cover that one. Yep.
Is that toxic?
that is better information that all three of us have ever put out on the air.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
mean,
Craig knows his stuff.
Yeah, he's a smart dude for sure.
Yep.
He was, yeah.
But how many beers have they probably drank?
Not enough. That's the answer. Yeah, not enough
Yeah.
for sure.
No, he knows history. He just doesn't know shit about dogs.
Well, Ben said he's got a good story for us for happy hour, but it's got to wait for a little while. So I'm sure Ron can come up with a wire hair story, and I know one wire hair story that I can certainly prompt him with for happy hour if nobody else comes up with anything. Well, yeah, obviously, Jeff. I mean, what do you think I'm sitting in right now? Ron's not wearing pants. I guarantee you that.
Yeah. Ron was pantsless on Instagram yesterday.
Every day.
Every day.
How many times do we have to see him in his underwear?
So
I mean, I don't.
Tyler comes out of his room and bright like chartreuse, like a jig. And then he's like, "Oh, you can sit next to me." And it was like, yeah,
Really?
I was, oh yeah. Look, I mean,
You want to spot
He's
it
like,
out?
as he's got his hand on your thigh, so just don't make any faces in the camera.
Yeah, but see, the problem is he's got those small hands, though.
yeah.
So
Why?
there's a
And I can't do much. I'm like pretty much at the mercy.
we got
Spotted cow.
we got some
Wisconsin.
some Wisconsin deer.
Yep. Had a few of those at the cabin last weekend.
Did you?
Yep.
When do you guys lock up your cabin up there? Or do you go up there and hunt at all?
I hunt there. Yeah, it's
Yep.
a 3 season. We can kind of use it in the winter, but we don't really. But yeah, it's all through hunting season. I was over there scouting, saw a lot of turkeys. If turkey broods are any indication of rough grouse broods, I've seen rough grouse too, which is a good sign. But the turkeys, I just think you just see them more. But there's a ton of them.
Didn't I hear that turkeys will eat rough grouse egg?
No, don't perpetuate that stuff.
No.
You heard it. You definitely heard it. It's
Oh,
something that folks like to talk about a lot, and I guess the way that
hi from Australia. What the?
What's going on, John?
nice. I got an email from a guy from New Zealand today, which is the second time I've heard from somebody from New Zealand.
What time is it in Australia? That's what I'm wondering.
That's a good question.
9 a.m. Is he drink? John, are you drinking in Australia? Like, cheers,
Kudos,
man.
yeah.
Good for you.
I'm gonna do a little research while we're.
Yeah, do that. Do
I
that.
like it. I like it.
Yeah, so a lot of people speculate that turkeys will eat grouse legs or grouse eggs, and some people even say that turkeys are kind of the reason that grouse numbers are dwindling. And as far as I know, from talking to people that are much smarter about this stuff than me, the science would not tell you that. But it's also they can't say with certainty a lot of stuff either. I mean, if a turkey's,
Sure.
I think Meadow Cowfeld told me if a turkey was walking by a grouse egg, it might have at it.
Sure,
but
but
they're
it's-
not out there targeting
They're not
grouse
looking
nests.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was up
Working
at
from
a
home. I gotcha.
bachelor party up in by Island Lake up in your neck of the woods, Nick.
Oh, really?
And I damn near got into a knockdown drag out. And I don't know why. I know why I was drunk. and he's just adamant eating turkey eggs and
The turkeys were killing grouse. He
well,
was
yeah,
saying.
the
Yeah,
turkeys
yeah.
were eating grouse eggs. It was
Yeah.
just-
It always seemed a little bit far fetched to me too. Where I mean, to me, it would kind of come down to the same thing as the people saying, "Oh yeah, I shoot coyotes because I like to hunt pheasants." It's like I'll tell you right now that skunks, raccoons, and probably even red fox are going to be harder on pheasant populations than coyotes are.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you that. So it like
read that Dan Flores book about coyotes, and then think about shooting all of them.
well, and that's like they say that deer have been documented to eat fish, but then to say
Right.
to say that they're raining hell on the fish population, that's another
It's
thing.
the same. Yeah, exactly
Damn,
right.
stop running because them damn bucks.
Yeah, they're eating all my sharp tails.
I
up here.
haven't caught a fucking steelhead in 3 years because of them deer. I want that CWD to blow up. It doesn't happen. Maybe. Yeah, fine.
Got an answer. 14 hours ahead of Lansing, Michigan.
Oh, it took you a long time.
He already said it was
Now we got to
10:30
do
a.m.
math. Can't you just look up Australia time?
Or he
Yeah,
just
on your
There it is.
10:30. Yeah.
We got it quicker from the guy.
My phone for everything.
This week on Old Man Googling with Ronald Baird.
I'm gonna
Start a
slap
time.
all- I'm gonna slap all you boys so you can't remember your name.
Ron,
Oh,
I
man.
ordered us a box of cigars that's going to be here tomorrow, and I also got you a present, you old bastard. I got you a really nice cigar cutter coming from Deadwood Tobacco Company. It's going to be here tomorrow for us.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I got a good one for you. Yeah.
Thank you. I got a couple of. I was at the NAVDA test this weekend, and one of the judges' husbands, a friend of mine, Pete Pure, he runs around with I can't remember what Anthony and Cliff. It's a good cigar, you know.
Sure.
You buy the box is a wooden box, not even and he opened that box up, gave me a fresh big 5 feet. It looked like besides I walk like Groucho Marx. I looked like Groucho Marx. I was like, yeah. I think it was about that long. Embarrassing.
Nice.
Anyway,
John, I hate to keep on going back to it, but I can't imagine we have a whole lot of listeners / watchers in Australia. How did you find out about us? Because I know
That's a
that
good question.
me and Ron both have a mutual listener who's actually a UFC coach from Australia. I'm wondering if you know him or not.
I'm trying to look up my where is it? My stats, show stats.
This week's second episode of Old Man Googling with Ronald Babe.
Oh man. Hey, so Pike Gear sent you a fresh pair of Kiowas or what? Those weren't the new ones?
I actually got I got a test pair of the Tongass.
Oh, okay.
How do you like them?
They're nice, but they're it was so freaking hot this weekend. I wore
Yeah.
the Kiowa, and I wish you'd have gave me a pair of those drifters because we're just walking light cover.
I've heard those drifters are nice.
Also,
I
there's they have
everyday dog training.
Kiowas and drifters. What's
Yeah.
the difference of the drifters just don't have the facing or something?
Yeah,
that,
they don't have the facing, and they don't
Okay.
have the. Well, I guess none of them have the zippers on them anymore, but they're extremely comfortable. And training retrievers, they dry off so fast.
yeah.
It's
Nick, you're going to overlap with Pike and the boys while you're out here. You should just send him a little message suggesting perhaps it may behoove him to bring you a pair of those.
Well, I talked to Mr. Veldman a couple weeks ago, and
Sure.
we talked about that a little bit. But I have the Kiowa shirt, and I've been wearing that when I'm running the dogs,
Nice.
training on grouse or whatever. And yeah, it's the stuff is super lightweight. I haven't put it to the test in the cover or anything, but as far as comfort goes, yeah, it's top notch.
Well, I listened to Ron's podcast today, and he was talking about the new Briar pants that they're coming out with.
Would that be the Tongass then?
No, they got two new ones. They got the
Oh.
Tongass and then the Briars. It's going to be more of a late season, also very ultra quick drying thing. It's going to come out in September.
Stretchy, but they're just like a little more water resistant and water repellent than the Kiowa.
Okay, so they're the midweight. They're not and then the Briars are the heavy duty weatherproofs.
He found like that Cordura for the heavy
Mhm.
duty
The fronts. Yeah, it's a stretch Cordura.
fabric. So
You know, it's kind of I was talking to my buddy Garrett about that, just about upland pants in general, and it's like that Cordura stuff wears so well. I've got it on my Wingworks vest, and I mean 6 years, and you couldn't find a hole on that vest. Like it's just like, why don't people put this on the front of their brush pants? So that's I guess Pike Gear's doing it.
That's the thing though, is that some people did, but it was always on the shitty brush pants.
Yes,
like I had a couple pair of they were made by Wrangler and they were sold at Shields Outfitter. They were like $34.
Yeah.
No kidding. I would order 4 pair of those every year, and I would, within the first 4 days, I would split the crotch open on a barbed wire fence, like just religiously, because there's no stretch.
Yeah.
Like, and so it doesn't matter, what you do. They just don't, that's the nice thing about the Kiowas. I've been wearing the Kiowa since October. I haven't torn a crotch out of them yet, which I've never done. I mean, I can't even imagine how many barbed wire fences I cross over the course of a year. I mean, hundreds and hundreds for sure.
Maybe that's a good marketing function right there. Have the crotch guard,
right.
A little Kevlar up there. I'd buy it.
Well, anything that would actually be marketed as crotch guard, hands down.
here's a little stats for you. I'm looking at my Lipson stats, and when I put over Australia, 2,689 downloads.
Total or per month?
I think that's total. So they can't be,
that's not very. I mean,
no.
Yeah.
And when I go over America, it's 3 million. But I hover over Russia, 1.
1.
I can take a screenshot of it. It's like, all right, I can go to other, like China. I got 36 people in China. One in Saudi Arabia. Got 1 in Brazil.
I always wonder if those are legit folks or if they're spam listens or something. But
is what I think it is. Like I got a bunch of those. I like looking up those stats too. In fact, I'm going to do it right now. But I think it's Air Force based people or military based people.
That's a probably a good speculation. Yeah,
like that would be my bet.
Because I was going to say, Ron,
I know it's resident Australians because I've emailed with them. I've talked with them. It's just they the one guy nicknamed me Tinny for opening the beers. They call it 12-ounce can of tin.
Yeah, I got 2,400 Australian downloads.
I'm surprised.
2,400 total. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I'm surprised they would ever even let you listen to Ron and Russia.
Yeah,
That's got to be against some law.
Oh, it certainly is. Well, I mean, and
That's
can you imagine as restricted as Saudi Arabia is when you guys had Tracy Harmeyer on? They would have been burning places down with that woman on the air. I'm telling you right now, they're like, this is why they have to be covered, and everybody else in the world is like, this is why we love this show. So,
we should send some media kits over to John over there in Australia and see if we could pump up our listener base.
for sure, yeah. How many did you say you had, Nick? 2,000?
2,400, yeah.
I'm thinking
all
about
time.
1,800, yeah. So there's some hunters over there.
Yep, people are tuning in. I like it.
I do too. And I think they're probably the only people who could probably legitimately drink beer with. They're probably the only people who could actually drink beer with Ron too, which is actually pretty good.
So is Justin coming out next week?
Yeah.
Thursday. We're gonna have a walleye fry Thursday.
So he won't be on the Hunter's Happy Hour.
No.
Oh man.
We'll wait for something else.
All right.
But
Ron will be, and I will be. We'll just be here together making fun of each other.
That'll be cool.
I don't think we can get 3 of us on camera, anyways. I mean,
no.
like there's I'm 1.5 people.
Because I'm going back to Michigan. When's Justin leaving to Montana?
Well, Justin, I talked to Justin the other day. He may come to Montana with us. We're going to go out there. Brent Kroll's going to be up here on the 4th. We're going to hunt. We're going to hunt a little bit here, and then we're going to go over to Montana on the 9th. And I think Justin said he may go over there with us and actually hunt for a few days because he hasn't had. This is like the first season in 20 years. He's actually going to be able to hunt in September.
Right. He's normally guiding. Yeah.
Yeah, Ron, you should just stay an extra week and come hunt. It'd be fun as hell.
I'd love to, but I
can see you're looking at your calendar.
I know, and I've got the 4. I am really getting organized here. Look, I got a 4 month.
I know.
Look at that 4 month calendar up there. And
there, I got
a desire to go to the. I'll be back. You guys just keep chatting.
Oh, yeah. Larson, are you still planning on getting up here like the 14th? 15th?
My arrival date is still to be determined, but
are you just gonna tell your wife you're gonna be here until like October?
Probably not. I don't think that'll do me any favors around here, and it does appear to be shaping up to be a pretty good season in this. You know what's funny? I was talking to somebody about this today. Is it like, are we just getting lucky, or does it seem like not only is everybody longing for upland bird season this year more than anything because of everything else going on, but it seems like the perfect storm in that all I hear people talking about are how bird numbers are looking good, and it doesn't matter if it's the Northwoods, it's out there, it's pheasants. Maybe some weather patterns are influencing that, but like it just seems like we're all getting real lucky
for sure
at the right time.
It does definitely seem like that. One of the things I just did a podcast for Travis Frank on the Flush yesterday. He came up and picked up Rosie on Saturday, but one of the things that we talked about on his podcast yesterday is specifically here in North Dakota, we're going to get inundated with waterfowl hunters for sure. Like it's going to happen because the international border's closed. And I am very concerned. Our legislature is going to meet this winter in January and try to change that trespass law again. And I'm really concerned that with the big influx of non-resident hunters, we're going to see elevated numbers of trespass charges. We're going to see a bunch of people tearing up fields and littering and shit. And so every podcast that I do between now and January, I'm going to be harping on people to, if you see garbage on a road, or if you see a gate open, or if you see somebody doing something wrong, like we're going to need to police it a lot more than ever, just because literally the difference between whether that law passes and doesn't may be 20 like people behaving badly, because it's really freaking close.
Yeah, it could be the perfect storm for that too, which is not good.
If you know or not know, who actually votes? So somebody puts this up. Are you a ballot initiative state, or do you know?
No. This is all the North Dakota State Senate, the North Dakota State Legislature. Okay. And it's I actually had the guy on my podcast, and I want to have him on my podcast again just so I can beat the shit out of him on air. I'm fucking furious with this guy because he pulled a Trojan horse on us, and he tried to propose this super sensible legislation saying, okay, well, instead of doing the posted land like they do right now, let's do electronic posting. So people can go in, and if they want to post a piece of land, they can post it online, which I'm fine with, as long as is what they were going to do was the default was going to be open to hunting.
Right.
And what they,
in case you can't have service or something. Yeah.
Right. And that's the way that it is right now. And if they would do that, I would 100% support that bill, because it's going to help all the non-residents do e-scouting. It would help Onyx actually put together maps, to do that. And they were going to have in the proposal, they were going to have a date where everything has to be set by August 1st. So that way, from August 1st until March 31st or whatever the dates were going to be. And then they were going to kind of do it, where it was going to be like a stoplight system where it was going to be green, yellow, and red. So green was going to be open to hunting, no restrictions. Yellow was going to be open to hunting with permission, and they were going to provide their name and phone number contact on the on the electronic website, and then red was just going to be off limits. I have no problem with that law. But what he did is he wrote that law so it would be sensible enough to pass the Senate. And then when it went to the legislature, or when it went to, what the hell ever, I'm half drunk now. But when it went to the other branch of government, there was a bunch of amendments that were stuck to change it from being a green default to a red default. And he wouldn't come out against that amendment. And so as what I found out ended up happening is he went and they kind of made this shady backroom deal saying, okay, I'm going to propose this. We're going to get it past this house. And then when it goes over to your side, then you attach this amendment, just changing this little minor thing, which is not a minor thing. It's a very major thing. That is a huge distinction because it goes from a presumption of non-posted, like what we have now, to a presumption of posted, which is exactly what everything else is.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't come out against it. He's like, no, I've been fighting for this for 18 years. If it passes, it passes. And I'm like, all right, you piece of shit. I was so freaking mad because I had him on my podcast to explain it in the very sensible details that were in his part. And then I wanted to have him come back on and say, okay, the way that it is right now with those amendments, I don't support this bill anymore. And he wouldn't do it.
You know what the problem is with North Dakota? There's more non-resident hunters than there's resident hunters.
Yeah, but that's also the thing that we have going for us.
Yeah,
because the North Dakota Department of Commerce came out against the bill. Yeah. The North Dakota Tourism Commission came out against the bill because, and especially in years like this year, we're going to see an enormous influx of hunters that are normally going up to Canada in September to hunt waterfowl that are going to come here. And they're going to spend all that money in these small town bars, gas stations, hotels, grocery stores.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a giant boost to the economy. And if they change that law the way that, like, if it was to go to that green first where it's open, it would actually benefit all the hunters, non-resident and resident alike.
Yeah.
But if they're going to have it go to a non-hunting base where people actually have to physically go in and change that, it's going to kill the small towns.
Yeah.
And that would really clear up like the whole issue about, the intent to post and all that gray area where people get in trouble. And
well, and the thing is that I always err on the side of caution. I mean, when me and Ben were driving around tonight, and Ron and Nick, you guys have hunted up here with me enough to know, I have spent legitimately 25 or 6 years since I was like 12 years old getting permission and maintaining it. I mean, I have, like, if I were to break down as of 6 years ago, which is a long time ago because I've picked up a lot of permission since, I had roughly 500,000 acres worth of permission, private land that I have permission on because I know the landowners. So it doesn't affect me. If it would actually probably benefit my hunting.
Yeah.
But I got that permission because I've lived here my entire life and because I cherish my relationships with landowners to the point where during the wintertime, I drive around and bring them bags of corn during a hard winter for pheasants or walleye or gift cards. And, and most of the people, like, that's the thing about it is that all the landowners I've talked to really don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. They're like, it's fine the way it is. Or if it changes, we don't care. But if they change it to the way that they want to change it, then they have to care enough to go in and unpost it, which they're not going to do.
Yeah.
They're just not, because, I mean, a lot of these guys are 90 freaking years old.
Well, they have
they're
better
like
things to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, Tyler kind of brings up an interesting, I mean, I don't know if we want to go here, but I think it'd be interesting talking about, like, for me, I've come out there and hunt the last 2 years and I've gotten to do this where you drive around and you're looking for unposted land. First, you're looking at the habitat. Then if you see it looks good, then I'm trying to figure out it's posted. What are the things that you need to know about trying to see if it's posted? One of the things, or my method at this point, and it may be right, wrong, or different, but thanks to the help of OnX, you can see where the corners are. So I can go to that corner and I'm thinking if there's going to be a sign, there should be one on this corner. But
that's a big one. But it's corners or gates.
Okay.
So in North Dakota, those of you who haven't been here, every mile is broke up into quarters. And sometimes it's all owned by the same person. But think of a square like this and 4 quarters of that. So technically each quarter of that land can be owned by somebody different. And this is exactly where Onyx comes in, is that you can look at that. And is what I do when I'm out, if I'm in a place where I don't know the landowners, and I don't know who owns a piece of property, if I see a posted sign on one corner post and the rest of that section is all owned by the same person, I'm not hunting that field without talking to somebody.
Yeah.
Now, technically, it needs to be posted on a corner or on an approach. But what's technical and what's right is two different things. And I would much rather err on the side of caution and it's kind of the same way too, Nick, with you've been up here enough, and Ron too, where you'll see these really tattered posted signs on posts.
Oh, yeah.
That have legitimately probably been there for 15 years. According to the letter of the law, it's supposed to be posted every year, and it's supposed to be dated and signed.
Yep.
But if you want to piss off a landowner, and if you want to get into a fight, and if you want to shut down a piece of property forever for everybody, try to argue that point. Don't do that. Do not do that.
And even like in the legal system, that if there was one posted sign,
right,
and that flipped over,
sure,
and they didn't see it legit, it was just an honest mistake. People have tried to fight that,
right,
and they've lost.
Right.
They call it the intent to post.
Right.
So,
and I've seen it where, and this is why they actually come up with that intent to post law, is because I've seen it down specifically in the southwest portion of the state that is known as like the golden triangle of pheasant hunting, where people will just tear down a posted sign and throw it in the ditch and be like, oh, we didn't know it was posted, and they tried to pull that shit so many times that it's like, okay, we're changing this. And
you
this
gotta go with the landowner at that point. Yeah.
This is how the whole law has this is the momentum that's been building, and it legitimately got voted down last year by 2 votes. It's that close.
Yeah.
And so I understand that in my lifetime it's going to change. But I know BHA is going to come out hard against it. I know TRCP is going to come out hard against it. But I honestly just want to push for a common sense solution so that it actually makes everything work.
Well, then I think we should elect me as the next president of the United States.
I'm voting for you. I will punch my ballot right now. Ronald Bame 2020.
Would Bravo be your VP?
It would be a toss-up between
If Bravo's your VP, I will tell you, I definitely am voting for that ticket.
I want to bring back cigarette smoking in Vogue. The fact that was like a conspiracy that, it's bad for you. Everyone's going to die. Okay. I want to bring that back, and I want to bring back naked swimming in public school.
Those are his 2 huge campaign items.
Platform, I like it.
Let me tell you why, though.
Yeah, let's hear it.
When we grew up and we had picture yourself in freshman year. I don't
want to.
This is illegal, I think, Ron.
No, it's not. It's not illegal.
I'm going to get my hand on the mute button. Please hold. There we go. Go ahead.
First words Doug said tonight, and he's sassy. I like it.
So you got 40 kids sitting on this wooden bench, butt naked, right?
Oh, we're done.
How much trouble can 40 boys get into?
Well, I'll tell you right now, you're not going to be talking shit to the gym teacher. I'll tell you that right now. You're not going to be doing that.
You're not even picking on the kid that you normally pick on in science class. You are like you're in church. You're like this.
You know what? Ron may be onto something, because I don't think there was a lot of school shootings in the 1920s. When he was
not.
Yeah.
Probably not.
All right, boys. It is the top of the hour.
Whoa.
I think we'll take a break, and then there's a bunch of questions that were getting dumped into the chat.
I think it's a serious question that P. Fritz, we should.
Yep. There's quite a few serious questions that we should probably get at, so we'll get everybody about a minute and a half to go do what they need to do and top off beer.
Do it up.
All right.
Okay,
like right away, like you took her swimming right out of the gate. Like she still swam fun. She was like, she was a he could throw her in the nasty shit. She got like 12 bucks. There's no way. She was
Oh, Jesus, I don't know what that sound was.
I think it's right.
It had to be Ron moaning like that.
No, wait a minute. What did I do?
Well, you moaned loudly.
I don't think
Do you,
so.
are you opposed to cigarette
No,
smoke?
not at all.
Do you want one?
I'm good now.
I don't even have my.
Can I steal one of these spotted cows?
You didn't open this one.
I know.
Yeah, go ahead. I didn't.
I just
Yeah.
can put one on deck.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I probably better do that too.
I'll bring some there out
Oh, God,
when I get
don't
back
worry
through
about it.
here.
Somebody left this.
Oh, nice.
All that booze there on the shelf. All that is stuff people eat.
Perfect.
Yeah.
We had the old Quonset party.
Did you, Doug? Did you use? Oh, he's got our mic muted. Did you use the beer break thing, intro thing, outro, whatever?
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
Doug, you're muted.
It's not long enough, so I got to make it longer.
Oh, not the screensaver, Tyler? You
I
had the
don't-
screensaver up.
We couldn't hear anything.
Oh.
I don't know what it is.
There's no
Yeah,
music.
oh, yeah.
If you need some more hunting photos, Ben will send you some. I don't have any.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can send you some photos.
No,
There was a ton of them.
No,
that I
no,
actually-
we're not. No.
We have a lot of photos from gym class.
I bet. I bet.
So this is for Bingo Square, folks, and also to show you guys I've got an emergency here. This is the last alcohol I've got in my house.
What?
What
That's
the hell's
it.
the problem?
I made a mistake. I didn't stock up this week, so I'm done for the night, boys.
Give you the White Claw.
So
No.
this here. This is just my excess in the garage that I don't even take inside.
Yeah, I'm a real like a consumptive kind of person. So if I got it, it's gone.
I like that about you, Larson.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
Come on up. There we go.
I had to run outside. I had a box full of quail that I left out that I have, and a bear that is take away.
Yeah, the bears are starting to be a little bit of a problem here in Michigan.
Yeah,
I saw one at the cabin last weekend.
No way.
I saw one 10
Well,
feet
they're
from my
getting chased around a lot by the bear dogs because those guys are out running. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm
I
going
don't
up.
know what I would do if I seen one here in North Dakota.
I'm going up to UP on,
Yeah, right. You're like, hey, I'd call my buddy Nate with his dog Mojo and be like, hey, let's go run a bear quick.
I'm going to head up to the UP. My neighbor's boy's got a bear tag, and he's got a friend with hounds, and I'm going to go up there the 25th of September. But I'm going to go grouse hunting. But I want to get in on the bear hunt, and I'm going to carry my Zoom recorder. I want to hear the burr, burr. I want to get the whole thing, and then we'll do a podcast about the bear hunt.
Why not carry a camera? Why carry a recorder?
Because actually
Come on,
my
Doug.
podcast is all audio, Doug, and you're not down here to produce it for me, so there's not going to be any video.
Unbelievable.
And quite honestly, that's the stuff that our enemies don't really need to see.
yeah, that's probably
Really,
true.
I hate to say that.
Yeah.
It's
Doug
bad.
and I were talking about that last week, actually.
Yeah.
There's a guest that we want to have.
Yeah, for sure.
I'll just say you were with your Russian subscriber and everything is legal in Russia. So
Yeah,
Yeah, that one subscriber. Yeah, one. How could there be one?
I really want to have a coyote decoy dog guy on the show, but do we really want to have
No.
that?
Nope. It's bad enough to talk about wire hairs.
I'm fascinated by it.
That's the thing, though, is that you can do whatever you want to do to coyotes. You could light them on fire and let them run across the prairie. Nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far.
But if you have a bear or a mountain lion that stubs its toe They are going to hold that against you forever.
Teddy bear, kitty
Very
cat.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hear you.
I talked to, like, when I had Warner Glenn on the podcast down in Arizona, he's got some videos of him and he legitimately has a video of a mountain lion up in a tree and a dog on a limb, and the cat grabs the dog by the head, and his daughter is recording, and he grabs a hold of that cat and just starts beating the shit out of it. The cat lets go of the dog, and then they shoot the cat. And he's like, we can't ever show that to somebody.
No.
Regardless of whatever happened there, he's like, we couldn't shoot the cat because if you shoot the cat, its jaws close down, the dog's dead.
Really?
Like, yeah.
Wow.
Like they clench. And is what they end up doing is when they knock a cat out of a tree, they always have a piece of wood and they shove it, like they put it right in front of the cat, and the cat bites down on it and it dies. But if it gets a hold of whatever it gets a hold of, its jaws clamp onto it and they won't let go.
Huh.
So you guys want to hit some questions?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, man.
Stuart.
All right. So George actually sent this in as a Instagram post or Instagram question a couple weeks ago, but I've been waiting for a Q&A. So his question was a general question about supplements. Let me find it here. I make sure I'm accurate about it. But
You're breaking up, dog. What's that? Dog, you froze.
Dang it. That was compelling.
that really
What's
that bad?
compelling?
My bad.
You're coming back. It's like you're just coming out of the clouds, maybe.
That's crazy.
Like a strobe light.
Do a funny pose, Doug.
Well, I see the. Yeah.
There we go.
And I would think that I could answer that.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron. I haven't got to try them yet, but I got some here, and we're going to use them this week.
And as far as dog supplements, and you hear me do it on my intros. I feed Purina. It's got everything a dog needs. You feed that and some water. Yes, dog's going to be fine. Okay. But I do the same thing with my wife. Cooks good. She kind of makes me eat healthy, but I have hydrate and recover. When I was judging this last weekend out in the heat, I kept pouring my little wilderness athlete into my water bottles. And you know what? I'm 63 and my judges were all younger than me, and I wasn't bitching as much as they were.
Well,
So
you're also legitimately though. You are a badass for 63.
Well,
They're
I
probably
know.
all just whiny millennials like me.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, that it could be, Nick. But seriously, if you, I don't think supplements for dogs are a scam.
No, I don't think so either.
Unless you think supplements for humans are scams. Yes, if you want to count your calories and grow your own food and shoot, no, I go to the store to buy a bunch of stuff. I take vitamin C. I take a little vitamin D. I think the supplements for dogs are good. And,
Tell us about that vitamin D, Ron. What's in that?
Well, what it is I sit out by the pool naked and I get
Full
vitamin
body.
Fair enough. I like it.
like,
Hold on.
I'm like that, because of that vitamin D. But
Is this
I don't want
of the
humble
I don't
brag.
think so. I don't think so. Yeah, he's been on that vitamin D for a long, long time.
In the other part of that question, is there a particular brand that you guys recommend?
You're still breaking
Yeah.
up
Bye.
real bad, dog.
The heck?
Just stop
So-
talking for a minute.
I don't know what you guys. I always use that. What is it, Dasequin?
Well, I know that like Ron is sponsored by the same company that gives me some free shit as well, Wilderness Athlete, and they have that new dog and the Hydrate and Recover for dogs. And I haven't got to I have some here, and I've been waiting to use it until I put in a good full day, because I want to give it a really good, honest. I want to be able to tell people that it really makes a big difference when a dog's exhausted. And so when Ron's up here in the next couple of days, we're going to be. We're not going to be putting in full days like a full hunting day, but it's we're going to have a couple days where it's going to be close to 70, and we're going to be able to run basically from about 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the morning until about 2 or 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And these dogs are going to be able to put on a good, honest, a 10, 12-mile day. And once I see a dog that's like that for a couple of days, I want to see how the dog does respond to that hydrate and recover in the new dog. And I totally believe in the product just because I have been going to the gym all summer long and I've been using the energy and focus and I've been using the hydrate and recover, and it does work.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's just no doubt about it. Like Ron and yeah, exactly. And as well,
I'm going to bring 3 of these out there, Tyler.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it with dogs. And the thing is, the guy who started Wilderness Athlete, it's like, so if you don't believe in human supplements, well, you're not going to believe in dog supplements. So
sure.
I mean, it doesn't matter. If you want to put your dog in a $49 Kmart crate, it's okay too,
Right.
But the guy who started Wilderness Athlete runs dry ground lion dogs.
Right.
When he started Wilderness Athlete, he told the formulators and the people who work for him, he says, make something for my dogs to help them recover better.
Right.
And there isn't anybody in the Tour de France or the UFC or the NFL that doesn't use supplements to help recover and rebound.
And as far as hunting dogs go, there's nobody whose dogs get beat up more than dry ground lion dogs. It's hot. Like they're running in the desert Southwest. It's very hot.
My dogs are 7 minutes out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, when I go down there, I run one dog per day for about 4 hours a day, and I give him 2 days rest. I mean, like the dry, that's what Warner Glenn does. Is like he's a dry ground lion guy, and the rocks are hard. It's hard on their joints. It's hard on their muscles, and so and twice last year up here, once on the flush with Travis, and once at the Jamboree. We had a dog that went hypoglycemic and started having like a seizure. Now, would the supplements have helped? Maybe, maybe not. But I mean, like when you're hunting a dog hard for day after day, there is going to be a lack in something. And so, like I still carry honey packets in my pouch in case I see a dog starting to get sluggish.
Or in case we get pretzels out and you want a little something on top of them.
I'll just eat honey. I like honey. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
What's the main ingredient in the Hydrate Recover? Is it like maltodextrin?
Well, you guys keep talking and I'll see. But
I started using the new dog.
Round 3.
Or the new dog, yeah.
Yeah, I started using the new dog. I've got my 7-year-old female. She's been on it for about I'd say about 9 months now, and I'll tell you that probably the biggest thing that I noticed is just the way that she metabolizes food. So I haven't changed the way that the amount of food that she's eating. She still gets her 2 cups a day, but she started to lean right out. So she's metabolizing food better. It's almost like it kind of kick-started her metabolism a little bit. So she's kind of she's leaned out, but she's a lot more peppy and ready to get out of the box.
Sure.
And it didn't happen overnight. Like it was a cumulative thing that kind of built up over time.
Right.
So
I'd be glad to read this, but I can't read. The letters are so small.
Oh boy.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Right there. Potassium chloride, sodium chloride, natural flavors, glue, something.
For me, and I would bet.
Silicon dextrose.
He can't read it anyway.
So what is it exactly? Is it a powder that you put on the food?
It's a powder you put in the water.
In the water.
The new dog goes on the food.
The new dog does? Okay.
Yeah, it goes right on the food. Yeah.
Hydrate and Recover goes in the water, right, Ron?
Yeah, the hydrate goes in the water, and it says not to use it more than 3 times a day because obviously it's kind of like drinking Gatorade. You know what I mean?
Probably give him diarrhea if you give it to him too much.
Yeah, you can't do. It's like saying, "Well, I got a headache. I'm going to take 2 Advil." Well, you know what? I'll take 8 Advil. But yeah, you're going to poop your pants.
Or die.
Or die.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that that he would have started that. He knew what his dogs needed, and this is not about dog food. This is just like human supplements for dog supplements, and I do believe in it. Yeah, and I do know
Here's a really good question for Ben from Jeff, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is Onyx going to provide email addresses, and right now, when you click on a property, it'll show the tax address.
Right.
So we collect a lot of this data from whether it's the state level, the county level. So probably until the county starts collecting email addresses, it'd probably be really tough, because then it'd be landowner by landowner or county by county.
What about phone numbers? Is that something that's going to happen?
That's something that's in the works potentially. So
that'd be great.
But email addresses is just that would be really, really
that'd
hard.
be like one level more intrusive. Like
so, yeah.
When I look at a property on Onyx, if I'm trying to get a hold of somebody, it pulls up a name, and kind of one of the things that's kind of started sucking a little bit up here is that there's a lot of land that's in family trusts.
Yeah.
And so it gives you a tax address for California or Florida or Texas or whatever. Yeah. But if it had a point of contact, that would be really beneficial. I'd pay extra for that, actually.
Because you start running.
Don't tell them that.
You really start running into privacy laws and whatnot.
Sure.
On the county level, because that's where we're getting a lot of the stuff. But if email addresses, that'd be I wouldn't want someone, if I had a chunk of land out here, I wouldn't want everyone in the entire nation to have an email address, much less Russian or Chinese hackers. Or whatever is the problem nowadays.
Sure. Onyx would people would probably be able to go in there and opt out, wouldn't they? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we can speculate down the road, but
yeah.
Well, it's.
How about the answer would be no, because I mean, really, if you're that techie, I guess, great. But then you're going to wait for the email.
Email address would be bad, phone number, or an address would be ideal for me. That way I can go and see them in person, because I'm most charming in person. Trust me.
When I got the plot books, when I got my first plot books back in the 90s in South Dakota, and they had the farmer's name and the phone number in the back of it.
Right.
They didn't always answer the phone, but there was a phone number. Of course, there was no cell phone. I mean, there was a bag phone or two out there,
Yeah.
So that's almost, I don't want to say impossible data, but
I think it would be tough. Yeah. It would be tough for people to allow that.
Especially now, it's landlines was one thing, but now it's
cell phones,
when's the last time you had a landline?
Yeah, fair enough.
The last thing you want is somebody saying, well, I called them, nobody answered, so I went hunting.
Yeah. Remember intent to post, Ron.
Even just a point of contact would be nice, though. Like who do you contact to find out if you can access this land or not? Because just to write it, well, in fact, this property here is under my LLC, which has nothing to do with my name at all. And just up the road here, there is a piece of land that is owned by some company out of Texas that it's some blue something or another LLC. And I have no idea who in the hell I need to talk to see who farms it, rents it, or who I need to talk to. It's kind of ambiguously posted on one corner of a section.
Probably some Shell Corp.
Probably,
sure. And in this part of the world where we have a lot of oil,
Danny Glover are going to fight him over a boat full of dollars. Yeah, I get it. It's great.
Yeah.
But I mean, still at the end of the day, and you've probably done it 100 times, is just to, find an address, find somebody that knows somebody,
right?
Go up, knock on the door, make a relationship, and then you'll be invited back for years. That's the way to do it.
That's how I've gotten most of my really good permissions over the course of my life, has just been by knocking on a door. And I remember this one time down in Southwest North Dakota. Me and Mike knocked on a door, and this 95-year-old lady answered, and we're like, hey, we're driving down your road here, and we saw a whole bunch of pheasants out there to the south in the slough. We saw it was posted. We're wondering if that's your land and if you would mind if we went and hunted it. And she said, well, yeah, boys, you guys can go hunt that if you want to, but you guys should just shoot them out of my trees in the backyard. They're back there all over the place. And we're like, really? And she's like, yeah, just hunt here. And we shot 6 birds literally out of her backyard within
In the
50
trees.
yards of her bird feeder. Yeah. And she's like, they're all over the place. Don't go walk down there, walk here. And I talked to that lady for years until she passed away. And now her family runs the place and they're still the same way, But yeah, I mean, like online scouting is definitely great, but knocking on doors is definitely where it's at. But Jace has got a really good question here.
Yeah.
I think that's for you, Tyler. Is early season sharptail and hunting differ from late season hunts? I am a Canadian going to Saskatchewan to hunt upland on opening day, but have never hunted these birds before.
The answer is yes. Very different. So I don't know when opening day is in Saskatchewan. I'm guessing it's probably early September, just like it is here. Ron, we need you to do some Googling. Google when hunt and sharptail season opens in Saskatchewan, please.
What's my name?
Yes. We'll pick up where we left off. If I don't get the question answered.
Do you think if he says he's never hunted those birds before, so are we just assuming that his later season hunts he's pheasant hunting, but he's never chased these birds?
I guess I don't assume that because pheasants are a little bit different than sharptails. But so in the early season, they're going to be a lot more related to where there would be spots that would hold insects early. So if you're walking around in early September and you're not kicking up grasshoppers, if you're not getting bitten by mosquitoes, if you're not seeing any insects there, that's a spot there would not have been a brood. Brood survival relies on insects. That's just the way that it is. And so early in the year, especially the first weekend, and I've seen it just out here dog training in the last month, where if you're walking across a piece of what looks like ideal sharptail cover and you're not kicking up grasshoppers, you're not finding sharptails. That's the way that it is. So you're gonna be looking more for, as far as the Huns go, you're going to be looking more towards wet edges inside of crop fields. They are going to be generally fairly close to some sort of a water source. I'm talking about Huns specifically. They're going to be in ag fields for sure. Wheat, stubble, canola would definitely be the priority places to target. But they're going to be close to water, because that's what's going to hold most of the insect life for that early part of their life, and they just won't have moved yet.
I want to throw something in there. You say early season sharptail different than late season sharptail. It really depends on where you're hunting.
A little bit.
If the birds haven't been pressured.
The one thing that doesn't matter though is that their food preferences definitely change.
Yeah.
Like once October gets there, I mean, like they're going from eating a base source of.
Tyler, he didn't ask if hunting them was harder. He said, "Is early season sharptail hunting differ than later season?" So you're looking for food sources, but if you've got an area that's just, if you're lucky to get an area that's not got pressure, then it's just looking for the food source. It's not. Those birds can be just as dumb in September. I've hunted rough grouse
100%, yeah.
Canada, and they're like, wow.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that the birds are going to be different themselves, but where they're going to be is going to be different.
Yeah.
So, in the first couple weeks of season, you'll see a real transition from. Those of you who have hunted up here, it's going to be the same in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta. Is that they really rely them first couple of weeks until we get a really good hard freeze on insects, specifically grasshoppers. That is what they were going to focus on. Once, the difference is that they start switching to different foods, which would be different covers. From what I understand, all the upland hunting up there in Canada is specifically for Huns and sharptails is really not utilized a whole lot, and so the birds aren't quite as educated as they would be down here. But that time of the year, I would be focusing on prairie and any place that there's a lot of insects. I guess would be the short answer there. It was only a 20-minute answer. It was a short answer.
Here's actually a really good question too. Is first season with a pup, is it possible to hunt them too much, or just be conscious and recognize when she's exhausted, worn out? What about mixed bag hunting for grouse, pheasant, and waterfowl? Not sure what the last section, but I would even give a caveat. Is it possible to hunt too much? Not necessarily from an exhaustion standpoint, but just an overexposure of too many birds before getting finished and creating horrible habits because they're getting
if this dog's developing a bad habit on a particular species of bird, you could definitely hunt them too much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they always say wild birds will teach your dog manners, but if your dog doesn't have any manners,
Right.
and he decides to become a flusher, you got to pull him back. You got to do some training in this.
Is that only if you're banging away though? Because I mean, would a pointing dog trainer really tell you to pull your dog off wild birds and it's like first puppy season?
Could.
Or would they just say don't shoot?
I would say probably.
Here's the thing. I have heard this forever, where people say if a dog bumps a bird, don't shoot it because it's going to teach teach that dog something bad. I have never seen a person with that kind of control, because generally speaking, these are professional trainers that have endless amounts, like that's what they do for a living. So they're saying if that dog bumps that bird, like let's use rough grouse as an example, because there's a very clear learning curve on rough grouse, right? Yeah. So if you were going to only shoot pointed grouse over a young dog, you may not shoot a bird for 2 years, 3 years sometimes. So like when people say that, I understand what they're saying, but at the same time, they need to understand that most of these people are taking 1 trip, maybe 2 trips a year, and it's not feasible. So like I think that first year, it's way more important to just let that dog make mistakes and then reel it in during that second summer. If that dog is really legitimately out of control, that's one thing. But let me think here, 5 dogs in at this point, I've never seen a dog that was so out of control, batshit crazy, that I was legitimately concerned that I couldn't actually teach that dog something, or that I wasn't seeing that dog at least try to start to point or whatever.
Yeah. So it's go ahead, Doug.
No, I was gonna say I think it depends too if you're what your end goal is with the dog, right? So if you're looking at creating a dog that with a finished, whether it's a pointing dog that is going to be steady to the through the fall, and they're getting to the custom of chasing birds down. I'm thinking more specifically to a flushing dog. Like even take a look at how Taffy kind of got. Ron talked in a couple episodes ago about, Taffy kind of got bird drunk out in I guess it was South Dakota. If you've got a dog that is flushing birds wild and chasing them down into the next county, and that becomes good. Yeah, and that becomes the habit for it. If your goal with that dog is to be a finished, to just sit to the flush, watch it fly away, shoot it, and go pick it up on command. Yeah, absolutely. Too many birds. I don't care what kind of contacts it is going to. Once that dog establishes, the more times that they do it, it becomes more correct to them. I think I think it's just balance on, and each dog's going to be different. If you've got a high dry dog, if you've got a low dry dog, you got to make the determination based off the dog's personality and where.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the important part is let a puppy be a puppy to an extent. Like the biggest thing is for a young dog is exposure. Let it get out, have the sight, smells, figure it all out. And if you have access in the off season to pigeons or whatever launchers, that's when you can really harness it in. But those first, that first season is so formative for a dog in terms of just figuring out how to find birds, because steadiness is pointers, it's kind of inherent. That's obedience.
No, whoa. Ben.
What?
Whoa, dude. I did not know what was happening there.
I swear to God, I thought that he was on skip.
I thought somebody else was chiming in.
I gotta stop. You said steadiness is inherent. No.
Well, no, I mean, like, no, not steadiness.
Pointing
Pointing is inherent.
inherent.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Staunchness is trained.
Right. I understood what he was saying.
Yeah.
It was like
Staunchness is not trained.
Steadiness is.
steadiness is trained.
6 of 1. Yeah.
I understood what he was saying, and like, if you get any one of the good, I Freudian slip there. Any one of the good pointing breeds is what I was going to say. But any pointing breed inherently should have some level of point to it. Just like in the retriever world, if you get a Labrador retriever or whatever, they should have some level of retrieve to them.
Oh, you'd like to? Yeah.
Like when you have that very first season is honestly the way that I look at it, and the way that I when Travis came up on Saturday and picked up that little puppy that he picked up from me, he's like, "What should I be doing this year?" I was like, "Okay, so you are a television host that travels all over the country and hunts all kinds of wild birds, right?" He said, "Yep." I said, "Do that. That's it." Well, like, do not expect any, like these dogs are not handed down from God, right? They are going to make, like, my grandpa said it the best, and I can't help but say it the same way. Every dog you will ever meet will still eat a turd, and they will still fuck their sister. Just the way that it is. Like, they are not the smartest creatures on the planet. They are, like, there's so much stuff in them genetically that first year, they're, what's that?
I think we just got kicked off of YouTube.
That's all right. But they will do things that are going to be absolutely amazing, and they're going to do things that are going to be absolutely maddening. Like, they are going to drive you crazy, and they are going to blow you away in the same day a lot of times. And that first year is exactly for that. Pour them into wild birds, take them to different places, let them hunt with dogs, let them hunt with other dogs, let them, like, run around, let them mess up, let them chase, or, fix them when they chase deer, because that's something that you can train immediately, because it has nothing to do with actually training. And then that second year, when they're like a year old or a year and a half old, that's when you start putting formal manners on that dog, in my opinion. And I know that I don't have to tell any of you guys, because you all know that I'm kind of like 3/4 moron and whatever, but I'm not a professional dog trainer. You gotta put that out.
Really?
I know.
Oh, I had no idea.
I know. Like, I got my dog training diploma the same place Ron did. So, like, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
No. You got your dog training diploma the same place I got my union card in a tavern.
At a tavern, yeah. The one right down the road here, yeah.
That's where I got my union card.
I mean, like, the best way that I can describe it is the same way I told Travis. I was like, just have fun with the puppy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just enjoy it. You get what you get, and you're just trying. Like, there's certain things that you want to make sure that the dog doesn't do. Like, you want to make sure it's not gun shy. You want to make sure that it's not afraid of water. You want to make sure that it doesn't have negative reactions around other dogs. You want to make sure that it's crate trained. You want to make sure all these other things that you're training without training. Like, you're literally just exposing the dog to do these things just by taking it with. Like all of a sudden you have a little puppy around 5 big dogs. You don't want that dog to, like, freak out and shut down. Yeah. Like, you want to keep on exposing it to those things. But when people say, what's that?
Did you see Mike Herter's last comment?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's exactly right, Mike. Mike knows me, I think.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. Mike knows enough to maybe be my boss, actually. It is actually pretty much right. But yeah, I mean, like, it's it's the things that we wouldn't consider training. It's the things that we would call exposure are way more important in the first year.
Yeah, definitely crate train it.
Yes, crate training is crucial.
Don't be that guy or girl.
No.
Yeah. Oh, get off there. Go.
Kevin, so I know Kevin has been talking excessively about his excitement to be getting his first German Shorthair Pointer here in a couple of, I don't know if it's maybe.
He must mean 8 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So should you cut an 8 plus?
No.
I think puppy walks are probably okay. in different types of cover in different type things. If the dog serendipitously hits runs into
the
a
dog's not going to be covering much ground at 8 weeks.
he's probably not going to be leaving your side though.
Both Nick and Ron would both be able to talk about this a lot because Ron's had more puppies than all of us just because he's old, and Nick has one right now.
Yeah.
But an 8-week-old puppy, you can actually mess that dog up for life at that age if you're doing it wrong.
Start blinking birds.
Absolutely. Yep. Or it could, like, a bird startles them.
Yeah.
Or,
start 100%. Blinking birds for sure.
I'm going to go back to Chicago public high schools.
Yes.
Okay?
I'm all.
No, it's not about swimming class. Not about swimming class. I tell this to the people at my NAVDA grounds. I've been going for years, and I'm trying to get a little handle on what we're doing for training. These dogs, all genetically, if there's a good dog, we're just going to assume they're all good.
Sure.
Great, just good. And it's already wired in them for the love birds. They love birds.
They should.
I interviewed that guy a year ago or two that gets rescue dogs from people who never hunted their dog. He gets a 5-year-old setter, 5-year-old pointer, never hunted, turns it into his hunting companion. This dog is genetically wired to like birds. At 8 weeks of age, if I went to the library class in Bogan High School and we're trying to learn the Dewey Decimal System, do you guys even know what the Dewey Decimal System is?
Yes, I do. Yes.
I heard of it.
Okay, you've heard of it. When you went to the library to look up a book, you had to use the Dewey Decimal System. Now, if I'm in a library trying to study for history and there's a magazine rack over on the back side that was full of hustlers and playboys and how well do you think I'm going to be able to focus on the job at hand when this genetic
exactly right, Doug. When you're talking about a job in hand, don't talk about Hustler magazine. Don't do that.
So your puppy does not need an 8-week-old puppy. You don't need 8-week-old puppy does not even need to see a bird. Doesn't even see a bird.
Would you be afraid to walk it near where there could be a grouse?
Depending on who the dog is. I mean,
it's a bulldog.
If it's a bulldog, I wouldn't be.
8 weeks of age.
Most of the dog's probably not going to leave your side anyways, and you're going to flush it 20 yards in front.
If you happen to find a bird, it's probably going to be like,
That's the thing, though. Exactly what you just said right there. So if you see a dog, and I know that Ron uses the analogy a lot of liking the puppy that wants to pick up the biggest stick. I've seen 5-6 week old puppies that'll jump off a porch. That are just that bold and outgoing and not afraid of anything. If it's a puppy like that, then you can take it for a walk in bird country, and if it flushes a bird or smells a bird or whatever, I know I remember an old podcast you did, Ron, with Justin. The way that he put it is actually exactly right. It's like the snake in the grass, where the puppy's kind of like backing away, like, I can smell something. I know there's something there, but I don't like it, or I don't know what that is. If you see that, if you see that puppy that smells that and just bounces right in, then that's going to be one of those bulletproof dogs that you're probably not going to be able to fuck up. I mean, and it can be, you can see both in the same litter. You can see a dog in the litter that is very timid. And as soon as another dog runs up to it, it's like on its back, being all submissive. And you can see another one that's jumping on the other dog's head, trying to attack it. Like, it's just
are we back on the Drothars again?
Well, we're only 20 minutes away. Ben's got a Drott story for happy hour. And I'm sure that Ron has, and I know of one that you can certainly share.
I can say this too, Kevin. If an 8-week pup, like most people said, like, you're probably not going to get the dog into much doing anything. But my 13-week-old English setter yesterday was right in a brood of 8 grouse, and they all. She bumped the first one. It flushed. She's kind of in the middle, Tyler. She didn't bound in and get the rest of them, but she didn't back away. She just started sniffing and moving ahead. And these grouse actually really cooperated. They went all 8 grouse basically went one by one, and she was just, interested the whole time. Didn't do anything, didn't get high, didn't get low. It is what it is.
That's good. That's actually really good. I
Yeah.
mean, like to me, I would like that dog because it sounds to me like it's going to have a level head and not freak out about shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the drop story. Come on, Ben.
All right. So this is first drought. We were down in Mississippi on a giant piece of, it was like a wildlife refuge down there, like hundreds of, I think it was like 50,000 acres. And we were duck hunting and carrying all of our gear into the duck hole off of the Ranger. And I just had Annie on I had her on the Garmin, on the Alpha. Actually, it was the first day I'd ever run her on the Alpha. And it was our last trip. I had my shotgun, I had my blind bag, and I had a dog stand with me. And, I turned the light on the Alpha, and we were just walking through the swamp pretty much. And
Shot it.
And all of a sudden, she starts just going absolutely apeshit, just barking and just raising hell. And I was watching her on the Alpha, and she was like 40 yards away. So I started yelling, like, get over here. And at that point, she was old enough where I knew it was like, all right, this is, she's probably after something. And there's tons of pigs down there. So she's just chasing after hogs.
Nice.
And then
Chasing off.
yeah, I was like, whatever. So then I start, I'm watching her on the GPS, and it goes from like 40 to 100 to 150 to 600 yards away. And at that point, I had thrown my blind bag, my swamp stool, the dog stand off, and I was just running.
I like the term swamp stool, by the way.
Yeah.
But continue, please.
Yeah, I had to take them down and just ship my family.
Sure, right. That's what I thought. Yeah.
So, anyways, we, just following her on the Alpha. I'd probably chased her for 1,000 yards. Stopped and listened, and it was just like the god awfulest snarling mess. And I was like, oh God, she's into coyotes. So I was like, okay, all right. Well, I'm running in waders, and I'm just sweating my absolute balls off. And I get to about a mile, and I'm just following the track, and it was just breaking daylight out, and I see a dead coyote laying there. And that just confirmed my fear. I was like, oh my gosh, like my dog's gonna die. Because every time I stopped, it was just a snarling mess.
Oof.
And so we got in about, I think it was about 2.3 miles. And I get up to her, and there's 4 coyotes in a circle around her. She's got one dead, one that she has by the nape of the neck and is just swinging it around.
Jesus.
And I yell at her. I say, Annie, what are you doing? And she looks at me. She drops the coyote, and she just walks over and be like, oh, hey, Dad, how's it going?
Wow.
And she just goes, sits down at my feet, and is just like,
I had so much fun. You have no idea.
Yeah. And then, like, the whole time I was prepping myself, like, okay, it's all right, Ben. You can get another dog. It's fine.
Jeez.
Like, she's just
Fine.
dog. And so that one coyote was like just like half-ass, like dragging itself away, the one she had in her mouth. So we got back to the duck hole an hour after shooting light, and didn't see
limit, right?
No.
Yeah, I didn't see a damn thing. And my buddy that was hunting with us said, when we get back to the parking lot, don't call that dog Annie. Because I'm pretty sure it was one of those dead, silent, calm, cool mornings. There's deer hunters everywhere. It's like, do not call that dog Annie, because everyone in that damn parking lot will be pissed off at you. Yeah,
It's like Matt Zoll's story that he has about Ron about being able to hear him yell for Bravo from his tree stand.
Yeah. Matt was turkey hunting a quarter mile away.
yeah.
My favorite wire hair story, though, that Ron has to do with the day that they got permission to use their Novda grounds.
Oh.
Best freaking wire hair. Craig told me this story. It's the best wire hair story of the whole time.
Yeah, we went over to Don Slater's 40 acres, where we still train to this day. We've been there for 20 some years. and I got my black wire hair Haskell, and he was a killing machine. He hated me. He didn't listen. He had no cooperation. Talent up to wazoo, and he was out of a DD litter, but he was nabbed registered. And we go over there, and there was still a few, believe it or not, a few wild pheasants right there in Holton, Michigan. And at the end of this little finger of cover, Bravo goes on point. And Haskell. And goes on point, and his rooster gets up. I'm like, wow, we still got wild birds. I mean, this is 9 miles from my house.
Right.
And Haskell just runs after this bird. Of course, I got no control. Crosses the road's a dirt road. Could have been a car, but he follows this pheasant across the road, through a fence. When he gets in the fence, there's a horse in the fence. The horse has never seen a dog, at least not like...
Not a wire hair. He's never seen one of that.
Wire. You've probably seen some collies and some blue heelers.
Not this creature.
And Haskell looks at that dog and just starts chasing the horse. The horse starts running and hits the fence. Hits the fence and flips over the fence. Ooh. And I was like, oh. I mean, we're not going to be able to lease this property. We're going to be named in a lawsuit. And he, now once he got there and figured out it was a horse, for some reason, he did not bite the horse. And he really thought he should pursue the horse. The horse kind of half tangled up in a fence. And it sounds like a jackass. When I get Haskell, I get him back. And we to Don Slater, and I'm like, Don, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. He says, don't worry about it. He says, I hate that neighbor.
Gosh. Oh boy.
That dog would stalk. I was in Texas trying to become a judge. To become a NAVDA judge, you have to pass a utility dog. And I had all my judge numbers were up. All the people said, "Yep, you know your shit," but you have to pass a utility dog. And this dog, he couldn't pass gas, let alone a test. But in my endeavors, I flew him to Texas to try to pass a utility test with him. And in Texas, we had to go through like a cow pasture to get to the bird field. And no shit, this dog starts doing like a panther crawl toward a calf.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, but I can take it. I'm like, no. I grab him. We get through the gate. Oh, God. Worst dog I ever had in my life. Talented dog, though. My God, he was talented. No. There's worse ones, but anyway.
Well, we only have like 10 minutes left before we're going to end this thing. Nick? How should we end this? Should we each tell a hunting story, early season story, a dog train? Like what do you think? We have a few minutes left.
Yeah, that's a good one. My mind just keeps drifting towards trips this fall, but I feel like we all talked about the stuff that we're going to do.
Yeah,
this fall.
Yeah. How about all-time favorite trip? All-time favorite trip would be good. And like I come up with this because I listened to Ron's podcast today with Brent Pike.
I started that one.
And they were talking about, I was cracking up because towards the end of it, they're talking about traveling with hunting partners that are cheap and nasty hotels, and it was great, Ron. Honestly, it's my favorite podcast you've done in the last few months. I really enjoyed it just because like we've all been there, right? Yeah. And I will just tell you that one of my very favorite trips, and now it's one of my favorite trips. At the time, I was exactly for the reason Ron was talking about. I almost fist fought one of my best friends. Because we'd never taken a trip out of state ever before. This is only like 5 years ago. And this guy is one of my best friends for 10 years. And well, I'll tell you guys who he is. It's Matt Schmidt, the Beard of Knowledge, who's been on my podcast many times, who Ron's met. But and thank God he doesn't watch, or at least not yet. Maybe I'll send him a link to this. But he has changed since this trip. But it was the first time I ever went to Kansas. And Matt is, let's use the word frugal instead of cheap. He's as frugal as they can possibly be. And like the first night on the road, he was complaining about paying $1.25 extra for fries when he ordered a hamburger, and it just started rubbing me raw. Like immediately, I start it's like a cheese grater on my thigh. Like it just drives me crazy. Okay, I set aside money for this trip where I don't give a shit. Like I'll pay for your freaking fries. I don't care.
Let's do it right.
100%. Yeah. We're down here for 5-6 days, whatever. I don't care. And then the next restaurant we stop in, it's kind of the same thing. And we start I start not so passive aggressively making fun of him. And he starts kind of taking exception to it. And it legitimately turned where we almost got into a fight one day alongside the road. And is what stopped it is we got to the point where we were both so mad where we wouldn't talk to each other. And we're driving down an unimproved road in Kansas. And it is the roughest road I've ever been on to date. I mean, it was just constant potholes and you're just bouncing all over the place. And I'm sitting in the back seat right behind the driver's seat where Matt's driving. And I was like, whoa. And this is what made me think of this, is because Ron was talking about having one of his partners who got so excited about unimproved roads after shooting a couple birds off of it that this made me think of that. And I was like, oh, stop. And he said, okay, what? I said, back up. And he backs up about 100 feet. And we're just bouncing over all these rocks. And I said, oh, okay, never mind. He said, why? What's going on? I said, no, you missed a fucking bump back here. And I wanted to make sure that we drove back here and hit that son of a bitch before we finished off on this road. And 5 guys in the pickup just all busted up laughing. And it broke up the tension. But, I mean, it was to the point, and to Ron's point in his podcast earlier today, you think you know a person until you're going to sleep in the same hotel room and share gas and meals and everything else, and everybody has different expectations on a hunt. It turned out to be one of my favorite hunts, because me and 3 of my best friends went on this hunt. We faced enormous challenges, including there was no birds. We wanted to kill each other at one point, and we came back all having a really good time. But it's still going to go down as one of my favorite trips, just because it was my very first out-of-state trip, and we went through all that bullshit together.
Good one.
Thanks.
What about you, Nick?
I'm terrible with coming up the story. I don't know. I've just recently started traveling out of state doing wing shooting. Obviously, I've spent a lot of time at grouse camps in the past. Some of my best memories are probably one of my best buddies is I've known him since kindergarten. Literally, my first day of school, I met him, and he and I, we've been friends for a long time, obviously, but we really bonded as we got into grouse hunting. And he married into a family that's got a camp in northern Minnesota, and I've been going up there for probably a decade. And I don't know, it's just we stay up too late, drink too much beer, deer camp, bird camp, all that stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Those are the memories though that we will remember forever.
Oh yeah.
Long after those people, including maybe ourselves, are gone, It's yeah, for sure.
Stories you tell your kids.
100%.
Or maybe not.
How about you, Ben? Favorite hunt that you've been on? Favorite trip, I guess the question was.
Yeah, so it was actually last year. I took one buddy who had never been like actual real wild bird hunting. He went to South Dakota, but that doesn't count. We were we were in Kansas, and another buddy who had went once before, and just a great group of guys, and just like I just bought a new truck, and we were having all sorts of truck problems. We got into the field, and this is probably the second trip I had, so I was just like super bloodlusty. I wanted to just like make
Kill
stuff
everything,
die.
Yeah.
And there were a ton of birds, and
where
Yeah.
are these freaking mythical birds in Kansas? They don't exist. I've been there 5 times, and me and Ron have talked about this. There is no place, there are no birds in Kansas until the last day.
So like this covey of quail got up right in front of him. He's got a litter mate to my dog, my oldest dog, and covey of quail get up in front of him. He's like, "Oh, that's cool." Speak of the devil, he's calling me right now.
No way. Is he?
That's very serendipity.
He is calling me right now.
Might as well answer him on air.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yeah, like that's weird. So he doesn't shoot at all. And I was just sitting there fuming because like I hadn't shot. This is like the first covey, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna
hit you.
Yeah." And then like throughout the trip, it's like just like you just shoot at them, and it's just at the end it was just comical.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's kind of to your point too. It's just it doesn't matter. It's all that bullshit that goes into it.
Well, it's really like I don't have any brothers, so I guess I don't know for sure, but it would like to me. Being on a hunting trip with your best friends would legitimately be like being with your brothers, where they are going to drive you absolutely crazy. Yeah. And to Ron and Brent's point in their podcast that they did just this week, get separate hotel rooms because it's going to make your life so much easier. But at the same time, like those stories about people driving you crazy when you're still friends with them and you still go on hunting trips with them and everybody kind of adapts a little bit. It really does feel like brothers.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like there's always going to be a little tension.
Yeah. And it's not about like, it's like, I probably won't be able to remember all the days that we've shot, limits of birds. It's the days that, you struggle and you're pissed off at each other. But at the end of the day, you shoot that one bird and it makes everything okay. And you're super fired up about it. So it's those times that really make memories.
Yeah.
How about you, Ron? One trip for the book to close us out, and then I'll some updates to share with everybody.
You got to remember, I've been doing this since 1970. Well, got my first hunting license
Since 1477.
Well, okay,
Independence Day 76.
Right. But I'm trying to. I mean, my favorite big first trip was South Dakota because it was like, wow. We got into birds and we asked permission. We got on every place we asked. But when I think about trips, when there's like a blend of like confusion, there's some trips that are like always good, but there's a lot of shit that happens while it's happening.
Sure.
And you're like, could we just not have this shit happen while it's happening?
Well, Ron, I remember when you came up here with Utzinger, like we were both so excited it was going to be fun. Like Utz, but you never went on a hunting trip with him. And I thought you were going to kill him day 3. I legitimately thought you were going to punch him in the face.
I absolutely would have killed him. I absolutely.
Yes.
But
at the same time, like now you look back on it and it's fond memories.
Oh yeah, I mean, I just cannot pinpoint a trip where like something. I don't want something to describe how I feel about hunting. I cannot. I'm so goofy, and I'm old school and I'm a grouchy old curmudgeon, but I am very flexible and malleable. All I do is look forward to the next trip that's got something that I can make a joke about. That's all I do. I've had trips where, all right, here I'll go to one. We were in South Dakota, year 3. My best buddy Jerry that died about a couple months ago, older guy.
Bazell?
Yeah, Jerry Bazell died.
He died? You didn't say that. Jesus.
I mean, I don't advertise it on Facebook, but
no, I'm sorry, man. I know you guys were close, so
he's my best friend here in Michigan.
yeah.
And I forced him to come on trips, and he loved it when he came there. And I'll never forget this. Jerry was a guy that he paid his way, and you did not. There was nothing you could talk about that you knew more about than Jerry knew about. Other than like, bird dogs and hunting, he did not profess to be a bird dog guy and a hunting guy, but he was a people guy.
Right.
An operator, crane operator, electrician, hydraulic. I mean, the guy knew everything. And we were in South Dakota. Two of the guys that worked for me, Bruce Robertson, one of them, were out there. And Jerry grew up in Michigan, shooting grouse and woodcock. Well, actually, when he grew up, nobody shot a woodcock. It was like, why would you waste a shell on a 2-ounce piece of meat?
Right.
We had grouse all over the place here when he grew up. And we got out there, and we're all drinking beer, and we're in a farmhouse. There's one bathroom, and Jerry could hear us laughing, and he would always pay his way because he knew he was not running down into the ditch. He knew he wasn't bringing a dog.
Right.
And I'll never forget this. Bruce Robertson, he goes like, that fucking Jerry was out. I bring my gun up, and bam, he shoots that bird before I can even get a chance at it. He's such a ball hog. Jerry had like a profound bay window on his front end. He comes out the bathroom and he comes in, he goes like, listen, you fuckers, I paid my way. And he's sitting there in his white BVDs. And he schools all of us.
Good freeze frame.
That's a good freeze frame.
Yeah,
Good
that's
freeze frame.
classic. Yep. Screenshot.
Screenshot that, Doug.
That's
Doug. Get it.
That should be Ron Babe and Bravo
Yes.
for president.
Yes.
2020.
We will deliver.
Got it. I got it.
Oh, we could have just went back and got it off the YouTube broadcast.
Yeah, we probably could have done that if we weren't sneaking.
Your announcements, Doug.
All right, guys. Well, we have hit the top of hour 2. Ron is still MIA. So I think if anybody got any final thoughts before I give a couple announcements and close us out.
I don't have any.
1 week
Nothing?
closer to season, ladies and gentlemen.
100%.
Yes.
It's gonna be crazy out here at Sharptail Ridge. There's going to be somebody like this basically from now on.
Yeah.
The one thing that I would like to announce a little bit is that me and Nick and Doug talked about this a little bit earlier, is that for the rest of the season, we probably will not be having a guest every week just because somebody is going to be here and we are going to be having our own stuff that we're going to be talking a lot about. So whether it's Ron out here next week or Nick or Brent Pike or whoever, there's probably going to be a lot of these kind of frames where it's going to be me and somebody else doing kind of dual duty as far as guest / co-host kind of a thing. So don't be alarmed, and we will try to push out announcements as best we can. But it's going to be a lot of just basically kind of what we're up to as far as hunting and how the season progresses.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of housekeeping. If you have not taken the time to go and enter the drawing for the graphite commission from Amanda from last week, we still have a few hours left to go and do that. So I would highly encourage you to go to Instagram or Facebook and get involved in that. And then I will be drawing somebody on Friday, and we'll do some sort of an Instagram live, Facebook live with Amanda on Friday to announce the winner. Nice. Once we get to the end of that, I will throw out more details about the logo contest. I wanted to kind of get one out of the way before we introduce another. And plus, I'm still working on some of the legal ramifications of how we make that work. So, what's that?
Said don't worry about it. That's
yeah.
easy.
Let's not worry about the legal stuff.
Yeah, who cares?
We'll wing it as we go. So if in the meantime, I'm hoping to get that out on Thursday or Friday as well. So if you are some sort of a graphic designer or somebody really clever with doing graphics, I would highly encourage you to start putting together some sort of a logo for us. If you've got friends, families, acquaintances that would do a great job, maybe you can talk them into doing that and then steal the prize from them, because we are going to give out an awesome collar from Dog Trust. So it's either going to be a T&B dual, one dog unit, or the new 3500X if you're a waterfowl hunter and want something built a little bit more for what you do.
Sweet prize.
Yeah, it's a good prize.
All you got to do is convince your best graphic designer friend to help us out.
So just to answer Mike's question over there on the side, just real quick, me and Ron will do the chug off next week live together. Yes. So
I take winner.
like I'm looking for Larson at this point because I need somebody who's good, Doug. Come on.
Yeah, you just wait. Go to my Facebook. Not Facebook. Somebody go to myspace.com and look at the keg stand that I'm doing.
Is that still a thing? Can you still go to MySpace?
You go to myspace.com.
There's no way.
My profile picture is me doing a keg stand. Woo! I've had many years of practice.
Yeah. What are your favorite songs from like 2005?
I'm sure there's a Blink 182.
Yeah, all the small things.
All the small things. Probably Theory of a Dead Man, Bullet for My Valentine, and As I Lay Dying.
Yeah, some really angsty
yes,
sir,
dude.
Yes.
As I Lay Dying's a little bit later, but yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that would have been that whole. That would have been the early 2000s that I would have.
Larson, I got some good music for you to listen to when you come up next week.
Do you? All right, man. I like that.
Or 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Like
and then you're gonna come back with me in October, right, Nick?
Dude, I don't know, man. We'll see how the grouse numbers are.
All right, boys and girls. We will we'll talk to y'all next week.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Later.
We're sitting here still until we